All right, so I'm gonna keep talking in it. So we get on the plane. You know what? I think it might be. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing, guys. Let me restart this. Oh, it's better? All right, cool. So we're getting on the plane to Bermuda, and the pilot gets on, and he tells us what we can expect during that flight. So he gets on the loudspeaker, and he's like, hey, you know, smooth takeoff, you know, smooth sailing. It's going to be nice and smooth. With an hour left, you're going to expect some turbulence. It's going to get a little bit bumpy as we, you know, get into Bermuda. There's a little bit of wind. So don't worry about it. We'll put the fasten seatbelt sign on, and you'll be good to go. And it just reminded me how important that notion of expecting turbulence is, and how important it is for the pilot to share the expectation for what we're going to expect. Now, I would challenge you to imagine going on your first flight and not having the pilot let you know there was going to be turbulence. Sitting there, flying in a metal box that is flying hundreds of miles an hour through the sky, something that people should not be doing, and all of a sudden it starts bouncing up and down and rocking back and forth, you would probably lose your shit. Because you didn't know what to expect. You had no idea that this is a normal part of flying, is that this thing called turbulence, all right? And it just reminded me how important it is to expect turbulence in your health and fitness journey, right? Expect turbulence in meals that you're gonna miss, drinking too much and feeling hungover and not being motivated to go to the gym, skipping workouts, having bad days, having bad night's sleep that leaves you feeling off track for the next couple days. These are all types of turbulence in your health and fitness journey. Bad meals, bad days, bad moods, all things that could potentially throw you off track and freak you out and make you feel like a failure or like you're not good enough. But if you know that that's a very normal part of this journey, it becomes a lot more manageable. All right, and it's just having to do with managing your expectations. I sit down right in this chair with hundreds and hundreds of people every single year, and when they sign up for the gym, they could not be more excited and more optimistic and just really optimistic about what they're going to be doing, working out every day, you know, making better health decisions, eating better. And I have to remind them to expect turbulence, all right? To expect, hey, you're not going to be here every single day. It's just not going to happen, all right? You've been trying to do this for 10 years. You have to understand that not all the obstacles that you had these past 10 years are going to disappear because you're a member here now. You just have to expect those and learn how to deal with them. There's a really interesting study that was done about people predicting their future behavior. And what they found was, this is how the study was done. They grabbed people off the side of the street or in this study, and they said, hey, I want you to tell me how many days in the next 30 days that you were going to work out. And everybody pretty much gave a number that was like a little bit outrageous. So like 20 days in the next 30 days, right? I'm going to work out this many days. And then they were kind of like, okay, how many days did you work out the last 30 days? And they're like, oh, well, it was a bad month. I only worked out, you know, maybe 5 or 10 times. It was a bad month. But next month is going to be even better. So they follow up a month later, and they follow up, and they're like, all right, so how many days? You said you were going to work out 20 days in those 30 days. How many did you actually work out? And they were all like, oh, well, this came up, this popped up, and I had this obligation, and I had a wedding, and whatever. I only worked out 10 days. Okay? This is just what happens, all right? So what they did was they hooked the participants up to an fMRI machine, a functional MRI. It scans the brain and it sees what areas of the brain are being activated when people are thinking and reacting to certain things. And what they found was when people were reflecting on their previous behavior or their current behavior, they were using the brain, part of the brain associated with thinking about themselves. Okay, so this is what they think about when they think of themselves, their current behavior, and their previous behavior. when they talked about how often they were going to work out in the future, so thinking about their future selves, they were using a very different area of the brain associated with a completely different person or a fictional person. So if they were telling a story about a fictional person, that is the area of the brain that they're using when they think of their future selves. And what they found was when we think of our future selves, we don't think of ourselves with all of the same stress and obstacles and things that we currently have on our plate. And we think of ourselves as this imaginary person where nothing is going to be busy. We're not going to have kids' activities. Things are going to be easier down the line, right? When that's not reality. So when we think of ourselves in the future in our health journey and we're planning for the future, we have to remember that we're still going to have all of the same obstacles, and we have to make a plan for them. So you have to make a plan now. As busy and crazy and hectic as your life is now, you have to make a plan for how you're going to do it now. Because if you don't do that, you're just going to get swept up in the same chaos and hectic schedule and all the same shit down the line in the future. And we're going to be 30 days from here, and you're not going to do what you said you wanted to do. All right? I see this every single day, and you have to expect the turbulence and make a plan for how you're going to handle that turbulence over the next 30, 60, 90 days that is coming. All right? So that is my first part of today's message, is expect turbulence. Expect the rocky road that lies ahead so that you know how to handle it. All right? So the next thing I wanted to talk about was I'm going off track now because I got a really good email from a client earlier, and he was asking, hey, how do I stay on track during the weekends? Right? The weekends just get completely out of hand, and I always lose my progress. And this is, I would say, the majority of the clients that we see. This is what happens when they hit a plateau. They're super dialed in Monday through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They're completely off track. And really, here's what I have to tell them. What you have to do is start creating a vision script for everything that you want to change in your life. All right? This applies to projects that you have at work. This applies to behaviors that you want to change. This applies to the goals that you have. And basically what the idea is you want to start with the end goal in mind and working backwards. So what I challenged this person to do was to sit down with a pen and paper. I have a pen around here somewhere. So sit down with a pen and paper. All right, always with a pen and paper. Don't do this in your head. Don't type this. There's a lot of power in putting pen and paper. Okay, and write out what you are going to be doing this weekend and how you're going to stay on track. Create what's called a vision about that future behavior. So just off the top of my head, writing down, I'm waking up Saturday and I'm going to have a 3-egg omelet with spinach. My kids have crazy schedules, so I'm going to pack a protein bar so I can eat while I'm on the road. If we eat while I'm out, then I'm going to stop at Wawa and I'm going to buy a chef's salad with a half a pack of dressing. If they don't have that salad, then I'll get a protein shake, a Core 24 protein shake from the thing. And dinner, we're going out to dinner. So at dinner, I'm going to get 1 beer and a vodka soda instead of having 3 beers and 1,000 calories. So you would take that same idea and write out your vision script for the whole weekend. Because here's the reality, guys. We do the same thing with weekends that we do, by not expecting all these obstacles in the future. When we think of our future selves, our weekend self, we don't think of everything that we have to do. We think we're going to be this perfect fictional character that does everything right, which just isn't reality. If we don't do this visioning and writing out how we're going to change our behavior, we're going to do what we've always done. And if you are out of shape, if you want to change your body, if you want to lose weight, if you have changes that you want to make, what we've always done has gotten us here. And what's gotten us here isn't going to get us there. What got you here is not going to get you there. So you've got to create this vision script for how you're going to handle your weekend. You don't have to do this every weekend, okay? The majority of our weekends are very similar, but we've never taken the time to slow down and do this activity. So we just get wrapped up in all the fast decisions and everything, like I talked about 2 weeks ago. But if you take the time to slow down and write out how you're going to handle different obstacles and things like that during your weekend, I promise you, you are going to be more successful. This is a technique called implementation intentions, and it basically doubles your likelihood to staying on track with behavior change that you want to make. A really simple template for this is doing what's called an if-then statement. If I go out to eat to dinner, then I will blank. Fill in the desired behavior. All right. I'm not going to go too much into that because I did it 2 weeks ago. But create that vision script. Really write down what you want your weekend to look like. So that's a little bit of an aside, but it rolls into the next topic. So as I said, I went on vacation this week, and typically my vacations are horrible. Like, I'm drinking all day. We're just doing absolutely nothing, eating like crap. There's typically buffets where I'm just like loading it up. And it's just kind of funny because when you're on vacation, we have this sense of like urgency around drinking and eating and all this because it's right there, and we're like, I'm on vacation and I'm only here for so long. So we're like, I'm gonna get this dessert because I'm on vacation and it's gonna be over soon. When really, like, this stuff is not limited edition dessert food. This stuff is not limited edition cocktails that you can't have anywhere else. It's the same shit that we can make here, we can get here, just because it's a little bit hotter. You know, sorry, my battery's dying. Just because it's a little bit hotter doesn't make it any more special. So what I would challenge you guys to do is, I'm going to post this in the comments of this video, but I created what's called the Vacation Optimizer. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I ripped this off of somebody from a coaching program that I'm in. I made it my own and applied it towards what could benefit my members and specifically my staff about how to get the most out of your vacation so that you feel healthier, more energized, and staying on track with your health without sacrificing the enjoyment of your vacation. So the Vacation Optimizer, I'm basically going to walk through what I did to optimize my vacation. And spoiler alert, it all comes back to vision and creating a vision for your vacation. So I knew going into my vacation, I didn't want to come back 10 pounds heavier with bloating and water weight and all that, feeling horrible. I really wanted to unplug and really relax, and I just wanted to feel energized and refreshed coming back. You know, to be honest, a lot of times I go on vacation and I need a vacation from my vacation because I'm like, I come back from drinking for 5 days straight and I just feel horrible. So I need a day off before I can like feel normal enough to go back to work. I didn't want that to happen. All right. And really, like what I said is, if we don't create a plan, we're going to do what we've always done because that's what our brain does. And what we've always done is gotten what we've always gotten. All right. So create a vision for your vacation. Write out what you want this vacation to make you feel. How do you want to feel? What's your vision for vacation? Make a plan for how you're going to eat. So on this vacation, I made rules for how I was going to eat on vacation. Now, I made these rules specific so I didn't feel restrictive, but it kind of automatically restricted. So my first thing was no carbs at breakfast. All right, they had this big breakfast buffet. I could eat whatever I wanted except for carbs. So no muffins, no breads, no bagels, no cereal, anything like that, right? That kind of automatically regulated me not feeling lousy, because a lot of times when I eat really processed stuff at breakfast, I just don't feel great, all right? So no carbs at breakfast. Another big one that I made was 2 beers a day, all right? So a beer is typically like my go-to drink always, right? An IPA or whatever, especially like doing like a Corona on the beach or something like that. But reality is I feel bloated and kind of lethargic when I drink beer all day, all right? I think we all typically do. So I basically just gave myself a rule, 2 beers a day. I could drink whatever else I wanted, but only 2 beers. And that rule alone made me more energized and feeling lighter than anything else probably. So I stuck to that rule. Everything else I would drink, rum drinks, vodka drinks, wine, whatever, because those don't make me feel as like lousy and bloated and heavy as drinking beer. So that was a really effective rule. And a gallon of water a day. So that was my last thing. My rule was a gallon of water a day. So they gave us like unlimited bottles of water. I knew 12-ounce bottle of water. If I drank 8 of those, I would be golden, right? So I know that's not exactly a gallon, but with everything else I was drinking water while I was eating and stuff like that. So no carbs at breakfast, only 2 beers a day, and a gallon of water a day was pretty much like the rules that I set that were not leaving me feeling restricted and like I had to do everything else. But they also made me not gain any weight, came home feeling actually like energized and refreshed. So that's my food rules. The next area of the vacation optimizer is unplugging. So and my staff is going to call me out on this. I was a little bit plugged in, but I didn't open my laptop once. I wrote a vision for that I wasn't going to bring my computer. I had to bring it because of the COVID testing, proofing, and stuff like that, but didn't open my laptop once. I made a rule to delete social media off my phone for the entire day. So at night, I would re-download it if I wanted to just like see what was happening in the outside world. But that was my unplugged rule. Delete all social media, delete my work app, turn off all the notifications for my work app. That was another way that I unplugged. And again, that was all written in my vacation optimization vision, right? How I was going to do this. And you guys might think it's like overkill to write this stuff out or to fill out this thing that I made. But I promise you, if you don't spend the time to do that, we get sucked up into the chaos of vacation, of running through airports and getting to the hotel and going to the beach or whatever, that we don't do it, and we get sucked into our old habits. And our old habits are going to get us our old result. We need to cement these new habits with pen and paper and write this stuff out. Write this stuff out, sorry. And with the social media thing, it was really refreshing. So I typically delete social media off my phone, just always during the workday. And social media has become like an addiction for a lot of people, and just being stuck on their phones. And it kind of felt nice to almost have social media as like a cocktail at the end of my day, right? It was like the nice little treat that I got after a hard day's work of relaxing. But downloading Facebook and Instagram back after like my full day of being unplugged, it was almost like sipping a cocktail after a long day, right? It was like a really nice little treat. And it made me think, like, most of the time it's like we're drinking that all day, and when we do unplug, it's like this rare little treat of being unplugged. And we should really try to flip that, where being unplugged is the norm and that social media is a little treat at the end of the day, right? That little cocktail that you have or whatever, that reward, versus rewarding or treating ourselves with being unplugged, right? It's pretty backwards for the way the human mind should work, or really what's healthy for us should work. So that's it, guys. I'm going to share my vacation optimizer. It also includes how to handle your work and personal obligations. So how many of us have gone on vacation and had just like a million things on our minds that, oh my God, we're gone. I got to make sure that work is taken care of. I got to make sure my kids are taken care of. All this stuff, right? It gives you tools for pre-planning for all that, and delegating stuff that needs to get done, taking time to think about that. It gives you an emergency contact plan. So hey, if you're on vacation, nobody's allowed to contact me, right? So I kind of told my work, like, listen, I am off. Casey is the only person who's allowed to contact me, and here are all of the things that she's allowed to contact me about. Anything else, figure it out. All right? So you educate the people around you for how you want to behave on your vacation. teach the people in your life how to interact with you, and train the people in your life how to interact with you. Set that boundary. All right. So that vacation optimizer includes all of that. Includes, hey, here's the only reasons that you're allowed to contact me. If somebody died, if there's a fire, whatever. These are the only things that people can contact me about, and you teach everybody in your life to honor that and respect that, and anything else they can figure out, right? So that was a really, really effective tool for me on my vacation, and it probably led to one of the more relaxing and fulfilling vacations I've had in my entire life, because I didn't come home feeling lethargic and heavy and bloated and like I need a vacation from my vacation. So that's what I want to leave you guys with today. I'm going to drop that in the comments. It's a 3-page document. Feel free to download it, fill it out yourself. Remember, I'll do a little recap. Expect turbulence. Plan for the things that are already happening, because you know they're going to happen again. Write out a vision for your weekends and your vacations, so how you're going to overcome those obstacles. Like, write that down so that you have a mental rehearsal of that stuff. With technology and social media, try to treat that as like the treat at the end of your day, versus eating like that all day and drinking like that all day and being unplugged is the treat. Be unplugged for your life and have the treat being that social media technology thing that you spoil yourself with after being unplugged. All right? And create rules for yourself on vacations and things like that that don't feel restrictive, but can help you optimize the way you feel and the way you live. All right? That's it, guys. Thank you for joining in. Any questions, let me know.